Hi, my name is John Coffin. I'd like to talk to you this afternoon a little bit about fire prevention in the workplace. This is video number 3 for OSHA 111. Fire prevention in the workplace is basically everybody's business, both the employer and the employee. The OSHA reference is Code of Federal Regulations 1910, some part L, which talks about fire prevention. And fire costs everyone. According to the National Fire Prevention Association, there are over 85,000 fires occur in the workplace annually. There's at least 89 deaths per year, and there's $1,856,000 per year in damage that occurs for fires yearly in the United States. I'd like to talk about a couple fires to start with here. First one's the Station nightclub. This fire was considered the 4th deadliest in U.S. history. Over 100 people lost their lives. The cause was identified as overcrowding. That's basically exceeding occupant load, unsafe use of pyrotechnics, and poorly identified exits. And here's some pictures from the fire itself. This is inside the building itself when the fire erupted on the stage. This is outside where it was fully involved, and this is the aftermath. And once again, over 100 people lost their lives just trying to get out of the building for this fire. Second fire occurred in 1968 on the Piper Alpha platform in the North Sea. There were 168 confirmed fatalities from this fire, and also a total of 226 injuries, so the human cost was incredible as a result. The cause, undetected gas leak, was ignited by equipment that was working on the platform. And here are some pictures of Piper Alpha. When it was originally basically done for the full platform, the blaze broke out. The blaze continued to burn, and currently what was left of it after it burned. In addition to these fires, there have been other significant fires this century. The BP Texas refinery was one fire. The MGM Grand was another fire that occurred. And most recently, the BP Gulf of Mexico disaster. That was another fire that recently occurred. But the big point is all of these fires were preventable. And now it's time to think a little bit about how. Some questions to ask. How are these fires preventable? Through good employer practices and employee fire prevention practices. How can I as an employee help to prevent a workplace fire? And how can I as an employer help my employees to prevent a devastating fire in my workplace? Cover some need-to-know terms. Fire protection ensures that a minor fire doesn't become a big one. The little spark in the trash can doesn't become a 4-alarm blaze. And fire prevention is to make sure that little spark in the trash can never really occurs. There's 4 principles for workplace fire protection. The first one is good housekeeping by employees and employers. Second one is good employee work habits. Third one is good employee training and workplace inspection. And the fourth one is good preventative maintenance and required testing of fire prevention equipment. So the testing your fire alarms or sprinkler systems on an annual basis. Good housekeeping, there's a lot of issues, a lot of things you could talk about good housekeeping. The things I want you to bear in mind is that when you're storing combustibles and you've got a sprinkler building, make sure that they're below the bottom plate of the sprinkler head, at least 18 inches. This allows the pattern to flow, so if there's a fire, it can break out. Combustibles shouldn't be stored in mechanical or any equipment rooms where you've got fuel-fired equipment that can ignite those combustibles. Watch the storage of combustibles in electrical rooms. And of course, combustibles should not be stored in exit stairwells, corridors, aisleways, and exit passageways. Any way or any place a person can get out of the building. Watch the storage of combustibles. And if you want to keep going on this list, once again, walkways, just keep them free from debris. Being aware of MSDS sheets for all chemicals and store them in proper manners. And once again, these are just a few basic principles of housekeeping as far as fire prevention. And the main objective in good housekeeping is what we call clear the clutter. Employee working habits. Smoking. Smoke only in designated areas as an employee and as an employer. Hot work. If you're doing hot work, make sure a fire watch is in place and the work area is free of combustible debris like toilet rags, things of that nature. Keep an eye out when operating machinery. It can overheat, it can catch fire pretty easily. A good case would probably have been the Piper Alpha. Report fire hazards to employers you see them. Report them so they can be taken care of and they can be dealt with immediately. Fire is serious business. There's also employee training. As an employer, make sure that your employee knows his fire response plans. Make sure your employee is familiar with the company's fire plans. Instruct the employees on location of exits, muster points, should an alarm go off. Instruct employees of the locations of the pull stations and other means of notification of a fire, even if that's dialing 911 from the nearest phone. Fire extinguisher training, conduct quarterly fire drills so your people are on top of things, they know where their muster points are, they know where to go out, and train the employees on how to identify fire hazards and also how to report fire hazards. Identification is key in that. If an employee can look at something that's a hazard, tell your boss. And of course, lastly, preventative maintenance of fire protection equipment itself. Okay, building fire alarms are required to be tested annually on an annual basis by qualified individuals. They're outlined in NFPA 72, which is a reference standard. Building sprinkler systems. Sprinkler systems save lives. It's been proven that sprinkler systems are over 99% effective in fire prevention and saving lives. Just a fire in the station, if there were a fire sprinkler system in the Station nightclub casino, that fire would have gone anywhere. All those lives would have been saved. And they're required to be tested on an annual basis by qualified individuals. Your reference standard is NFPA 13. Fire extinguishers need to be tested yearly and monthly according to NFPA 10. And there's other types of suppression systems, such as Novec Sapphire, clean agent systems, CO2 systems. They all require annual servicing too, and NFPA has all the standards for those, 750, 2001, 1301, etc. All these can be found and also cross-referenced. So in conclusion, most fires are caused by man and can be prevented. Tiger Alpha could have been prevented. A Station nightclub casino could have been prevented. Most fires can be prevented through good work practices, good housekeeping, good working practices. The things I mentioned up there, so many fires start just from poor storage or storage that isn't correct. And be aware of your surroundings. Housekeeping, working habits, employer training, and keeping fire alarms and suppression systems in good working order. Remember, you as an employee and your employer can prevent fires. Be aware, prevent fires, save lives. And I thank you very much for the time this afternoon. Have a great day.